What's happening, Ward Wrestling Live? We are back. Pretty dope. We got another amazing wrestler and wrestling mind and coach in our country. He is from Watkinsville, Georgia, originally, by way of University of Northern Iowa, and now lives out there. He went to school there, placed at the MAC Championships, second team Big 12 academically, four-time state qualifier from his home state in Georgia, four-time state placer there, and a state champ out of Oconee County High School. And now he's doing some club coaching in the area, still involved in wrestling. And his name is Coach Jake Hodges. What's up, man?
Not much. Happy to be on.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for coming on. And I do appreciate it. Again, honored and glad to have another wrestling person in my room here. So it's pretty dope. Before we get any questions, of course, the elephant in the room is what's been going on with the pandemic. Talk a little bit about, what it's meant for you this summer and how have you been able to keep in touch with your kids and keep them motivated and keep it from kind of affecting them mentally.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? So affecting them mentally is a good point right off the bat. And all we can do is the things we can do, right? It's just, we find garages we can work out in. We find wrestling mats. We're renting a place and then got a couple mats in it for our Immortal Athletics Wrestling Club. And we're taking precautions, cleaning and doing temperatures, and anytime like guys are getting around, like I'm just making sure everything's all right. But we're just trying to wrestle as much as we can, as safe as we can,
Yeah, I know that I've had some lady wrestlers, some man wrestlers, some coaches from Iowa, and they've said because most of the state is very, spread out, you guys have been doing pretty well through this. You haven't seen a ton of cases in your state, and it seems to be opening up little by little for you before kind of the rest of the country, since you're, mostly, like here, everybody's close. So out there,
right,
all farmland, right?
Yeah, it's pretty wide open out here. You can drive 10 minutes in any direction, you see like 17 farms. So
and you got some great clubs out there. And then I spoke to Georgie Ivanov, who I think he's opening another club out there, which is his dad, I guess, is a complete coaching stud. So he's open up.
Yeah.
So good for you guys. So, man, coming from Georgia, man, had a great high school career, right? Coming from the Southeast, four-time state qualifier, four-time state placer. You finally got your ring, and over there at Oconee High School. So, first of all, I mean, your state has come a long way, just like our state. And I think some people might say that you may be ahead of us a little bit, but talk about the growth of Georgia since you were coming up, and how many opportunities there are there now with all these different amazing clubs.
Yeah. So when I was wrestling my freshman year, there was a couple clubs. I went to the Wrestling Academy and the Wrestling Center, two different clubs that I knew of that were close enough to go to. And then I believe it was my freshman summer, Compound opened up, and then I started going there pretty much full time. And since I've left to come out here to Iowa, I went back recently, and it just seems there's like a ton more clubs opening up, just giving guys a ton of opportunities to go train, which is good to see, because I think at this point, if you're not going to like a club to train, you're probably going to fall behind a little bit, right? Because if you're not full time, you're going to fall behind if that's what you want, like if you want to be wrestling college or whatever else. But there's a lot of opportunities down there now to go somewhere and train full time.
Yeah, my man Chuck Morris from Morris Fitness just shouted out. That's my man Jake.
Yeah, he's awesome. That dude's high energy, man. I remember seeing him at I was in middle school at a couple tournaments, just seeing him around. And sometimes, like, I had like one coach in middle school, so if he couldn't get to me during a match, Coach Morris would just step in and just be in my corner, give me whatever I needed, and it was cool. It was cool. I like that guy.
Yeah, I had him on the show, and he definitely, definitely, your heart's thumping fast when you get off the show with him. I could imagine being around him in person. Uh, he's on a constant cup of Joe, as you call it, right?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. And so, what being from the southeast, there, what made you decide Northern Iowa?
So like I said, I trained at Compound, and they were able to bring Coach Schwab down, the head coach at UNI, Doug Schwab. They were to bring him down to do camps for a couple years in a row, and just his attitude and energy and the way he went about things, I really liked it. And so after one of the camps, I was like, hey, I think you can make me a national champ. Like, I want to wrestle for you. And he's like, all right, we'll talk about it. And then I ended up going on a visit there, and that's how I ended up out here.
Man, well, I know we have one of our Florida studs going out there, Ethan Basile, who chose your alma mater as well. And just talk about that room and that philosophy and that coach, and how he's able to just suck you guys in, man, and really believe in what he's doing there.
Yeah, he's awesome. It's extremely hard to match his intensity. Like, so when he's the most intense person in the room and he's leading the room, there's no other choice, right? You have to step it up, or it's going to be a rough day, right? He talks about, he never really talks about winning and losing anymore. Like, obviously everyone wants to win, but he shapes us through our workouts, right? So it's like, he's not like, we're doing this workout so you can win. He's like, we're doing this workout so when tough times come, you can handle them and things like that. So he really trains people, is kind of what he does. So it's great. It's great to be around him, with someone with that kind of attitude that you can use for the rest of your life.
And that's awesome. And you obviously fell in love with the area. You're still there. You still live in the area.
Yeah.
What made you stay?
Man, I believe I'm in the best place for someone in my position who wants to be a really good coach, because I can, with our club, Immortal Athletics, I can coach third grade through high school, senior level, or seniors in high school, and then college guys, freshmen through their 5th year. And then after that, I can coach senior level guys too. So with Panther Wrestling Club. So there's like, I can get the whole spectrum, and there's just not a better spot to learn as a coach with all levels.
Yeah. So tell us about those two clubs, because I know you split time. You coach at both of them. What you said Panther Wrestling Club is more your college kids, your senior level guys, and then Immortal is high school down, correct?
Yes. Yep. So Immortal Athletics is like your traditional youth wrestling club. It's like a Compound or a Morris Fitness Club. It's like they're the same type of deal. So that's youth through high school. And then Panther Wrestling Club is the regional training center for Northern Iowa. So it's the post grad guys like Drew Foster and Taylor Lujan and those guys who stick around and want to train senior level stuff. So I get to be around them and help them out as much as I can.
Wow, it probably gives you a chance to roll with some people more apt to roll with you, not a 14-year-old kid that you're probably throwing around the gym.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, yeah, there's being around Doug, I got to wrestle an Olympian freaking any day I wanted to, basically, which is good and bad, because it's like, wow, got a long way to go, but it's fun. It's fun to wrestle with him.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to talk to a lot of people out in Iowa, and it seems like people go there and they stay there. So it must be something in the water, something something in the air.
I don't know, man.
It's probably definitely, well, you're up in Georgia, so you still kind of had a little bit of that country life, right? But down here in Orlando or Miami, where I grew up, it was big city.
Yeah.
I'm sure I go out there, I'd be like, wow, this is mellow.
Yeah.
I'd grow a mustache like you. I'd shave all this. I'd have a mustache. walking around, you my cowboy boots on.
Well, if I could grow a beard like that, I probably would have one, but I
Yeah,
just it doesn't work right. I don't know. This is the only part that comes in decently.
I never thought I could either till I turned 40.
Oh, well, maybe I just gotta wait a little bit then.
Well, that's because I just didn't care anymore, and I was like, okay, if I just don't shave, eventually something's got to happen, right? So just let it come out, man. So I know that now have you been? I know you do camps and clinics and things like that. Have you been traveling around doing those this off season, or have you just kind of stayed home and only dealt with your kids?
Mostly just stayed and ran practices for the Mortal Athletics and helped some of the college guys out. But I did go home for 2 weeks, um, back to Georgia to do. So I did a couple random practices here and there at different clubs, and then I did one 4-day camp at Icon Wrestling Club, um, which was fun. It was good.
What's that? What's the one thing you look forward to going home for? I mean, other than like family and parents, like that pecan pie from Georgia, or is there something in Georgia that you're like, man, I can't wait to get home and have that?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I like to think I'm pretty simple in the things that I like. So like most things I can get anywhere. So if there's a wrestling mat, like I'm pretty much good to go. But there's not anything specific besides family and that I miss.
Not them Georgia peaches, Savannah Riverwalk, Blue Ridge Mountains.
Nah,
Yeah,
nah. I
getting all
mean, in the winter it'd be different because I'd be like, oh, I miss not having
that.
18 foot of snow.
Yeah,
But
plowing it.
right.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know we like to go up to Georgia too when my wife lets us out of the house right now. We're not allowed, so we're
Right.
doing that, man. Um, so yeah, so if you're not in Panther Wrestling Club, how can people kind of get a hold of you if they want to do privates with you, if they want to do clinics with you? How do people get a hold of Jake and have him kind of get to their camps and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, all any social media, message me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. That it's all you can all find me under Hodges Wrestling. Is like the username for all my social media stuff. So if you find me on there and message me, I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can.
Do you what are your future goals in coaching? Do you want to stay at the club RTC level, or would you want to be into colleges, high schools?
Um, I mean, I really like where I'm at right now. Like I said, because I get to work with all levels of guys. But I don't I haven't thought specifically about like if I want to be a college coach or if I want to be just a full-time youth coach or if I want to go to a high school and coach high school wrestling. Right now it's just about getting learning as much as I can is kind of what it's about. And then I'll as that happens, I'll start to figure out kind of where I want to fit in and go. But I'm really enjoy the spot I'm in right now. So I'm kind of gonna stick here and learn as much as I can while I can.
That's awesome. So two parts to this question. Obviously, what has finding wrestling done for you in your life and helped you kind of be who you are, and what would you tell young kids out there about um, getting into this sport and what it creates for you long term?
Yeah, so and wrestling's allowed me to be me really. And because you see wrestlers and for the most part we're kind of a niche group of people where you're allowed to kind of be a little bit different. You're allowed to be a little bit crazy sometimes or a little bit kind of weird or whatever, which and so it allows me to kind of be me because I'm a little bit of both of those things. Like I like doing a little bit different and kind of crazy things like working out or working out wise or just pursuing things in a way that you just that I don't tend to see very often anymore. And so what wrestling really gave to me, and what I would encourage young kids to understand about it, is that it gives you steps and kind of rules to pursue whatever you want at a high level. So like at some point we all take our wrestling shoes off. That's something I was told since I was in high school. Like at some point you're going to take them off. And I hope, and I don't think I ever will, but most people at some point will take your wrestling shoes off and you won't ever put them back on again. But the things that you have learned while you have your wrestling shoes on can be applied to whatever you want to do in life. So that's what I would share with the young kids.
Yeah, and one of them is a college education, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And that's pretty cool. So, what's that one match you would want back?
So it's kind of ironic. So my the one match I want back is also my favorite match that I wrestled. Actually, there's two matches I want back. The first one is the real one I want back, and the second one's kind of just a joke one I want back. But the first one is the MAC championship one where I wrestled Le'Veon Mays. And I was like, I don't remember the final score, but it was a fairly close match. And I like to think I'm fairly good on top. And I got the first takedown and I cut him right away. And he is fantastic on his feet. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I was just like, I was like, oh yeah, got to take down. Let's let him up so he can be where he wants to be. Like, what? Don't make any sense. All right. But it's still, that's one of my favorite matches of all time for me. And I ended up losing it, but I really enjoyed that match. The other one I want back was in high school. It was summer at these things called the Georgia Games. It was a freestyle and Greco tournament, and me and Taylor Lujan were the same weight, and we wrestled. I think it was in the finals. I don't know, but we wrestled, and in the last like 15 or 20 seconds, I was in like a quad pod, and he was behind me, and he was trying to get my knee or elbow to touch, and in the last like 5 or whatever seconds, he got a touch and ended up freaking beating me. And I want that one back too. But I can't wrestle him anymore because he's ginormous and I am not. So
Yeah, so that makes a difference, right?
yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I got some more questions. So my 10 questions, are you ready for them?
I guess.
All right, so you've got one day to train. Do you go with a clinic or a live go?
A clinic for sure.
All right. Do you go Famous Dave's or Starbucks Barbecue?
Starbucks.
Beast or the Iron Man?
Iron Man probably.
All right. Willie Burgers or Whiskey Road?
Whiskey Road.
Summer clubs or summer camps?
Clubs. Summer clubs.
Amigo,
As in, hang on. As in like a rest, like a Mortal Athletics wrestling club. Like what I,
yeah. So
yeah.
would you tell a kid do club all summer, or would you tell a kid go do camps all summer?
Club, if he had to pick, club all summer, because he could spend more time with one coach and they could develop him, as opposed to like picking up random pieces all over the place.
Got it. I like it.
Okay.
Amigos or Pablo's?
Pablo's. I like their burritos are good. Their burritos are good.
Love it. More prestigious, Fargo or 32?
They're just different. Depends on your goals. I'm gonna say Super 32.
Urban Pie or Tony's La Pizzeria?
Tony's. Giant pizza slices.
Oh, I love it. National duels or Disney duels?
National duels.
All right. Famous Dave's or Pepper's Grill?
Peppers.
Wings, right?
Uh, Peppers is yeah. Well, they got wings. They got like all kinds of stuff.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what would you, before we transition into closing this up, but what would you tell young kids that are getting ready to maybe go into their senior year and they've got goals to go into college to really prepare for that next jump?
Okay. I would say take care of the little things. Like don't let your grades fall behind. Don't let don't basically what got you to be able to go to college, don't change it now. Like keep consistent and improve upon it, but don't necessarily make a big 180 and you think you gotta, oh, I'm going to college, you gotta change a bunch of stuff right now. You can make little improvements and be all right. Right. Because what you were doing worked. And once you get to college, you just kind of do the same stuff at a higher level. So
So, what would you tell them to do to prepare mentally for now having, you don't have mom and dad kind of on your own? Um, is there anything that prepares you for that, or are you just got to figure it out when you get there?
sort of both. It depends on kind of how you were raised, and how independent of a person you are. I mean, you can create the same environment for yourself. Like if parents are waking you up and getting you ready to go to school, you can do that yourself. Be like, okay, every morning at 8 or 7 a.m., I'm waking myself up and I'm going through the same routine. And if you struggle being away from home, trying to make it as con- consistent and home like as possible is probably the best option. But a lot of guys, they just want to get out of home and kind of want to be on their own and do their own thing. So it's
Yes,
going to depend on the person.
they're happy. All right, and who's the next kid that we're going to hear of coming out of Iowa?
Like in a year or how long, what kind of time frame are we looking at? Because
Uh,
are we
yeah, in a year, let's say that.
in a year? Okay. So like after this high school season, I think we're going to see a few. I think Kale Ranavardi. Um, I mean, Adam Aronson is already coming to UNI. We got there's there's gonna be a bunch of good wrestlers coming out, and I mentioned a couple from our club specifically because I'm biased, right? But
Yeah, that's
you
okay.
know,
And then what's it going to mean to get Iowa girls sanctioned, have them become another state that is getting it done?
yeah, it's great. It's awesome. We have girls that wrestle in our club. I think it's way past time that this should have been done. Like it just I don't know. It doesn't make sense in my brain why it hasn't happened sooner. So it's fantastic.
Oh, it doesn't make sense in my brain either. So that
Yeah.
makes, I think it's not 1908 anymore, right?
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. You're right.
So, man, it's awesome. I've enjoyed talking to you.
Same.
You're a man of few words, so you get the
Yeah.
answer out quick and you shut it down, and it keeps it short and sweet. So that's awesome, man. You must have done a few of these.
This is was my second one. I actually did one last week. That I think is coming out in September for Arrow Wrestling. But I don't know. This is my second one. I just don't talk very much in
That's
general.
awesome, man. I always tell people like uh, guys like that we get through it and we're done. It's
Yeah. I know. I
oh,
mean,
well, this is already out. You don't have to wait for it to come out. It's live right now, so feel free to share it anywhere you want. Usually at the end
perfect.
of the week, I'll pull them and put them on YouTube and put them on Apple and all that stuff, and then I'll
Cool.
send
Yeah.
you a link. But anybody you know, whether it's youth kids at your club or coaches or any level that you feel would be good for the show, please refer them on.
For sure.
It's been an absolute honor to meet you, and
Yep.
keep kicking life's ass, my brother, and doing your thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You have a great day.
You too.